What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about how Europe could respond to the United States attempting to take over Greenland. Welp. It's honestly pretty darn sad that we're even having to talk about this in any kind of serious way. But let's face it, in the past few days, it has become increasingly clear that Donald Trump sincerely wants to own Greenland. It's not a joke or some kind of exaggeration like a lot of us Americans originally thought for a while. And personally, I think this is outrageous. It's unbelievable that Trump has now implied using military force to take Greenland. It's incomprehensible. It's it's something. I don't even know the words to describe it. It's incredible. Incredibly outrageous. Anyway, today I really want to take a look at this video by TLDR News EU and learn about what Europe thinks about this whole situation. So let's take a look.
As you might already know, in the past couple of days, Trump has, once again, turned his attention towards Greenland, arguing that the US needs to essentially annex the territory and refusing to rule out using military force to do so.
Yes, that is the crux of it. And I think that, this whole situation, at least here in the United States, first it was like everybody kind of rolling their eyes, like, oh, okay. Yeah, you want to take Greenland? Sure. Okay, shut up. Like, just another crazy thing Trump said. Then, after the whole Venezuela thing happened very recently, the talks about Greenland came up again. And Trump started talking about it again, and the discussion kind of opened up again. And it's way more serious this time. And when people ask him questions about it, he gives his reasons for how he thinks this is justified, which we'll probably get into. And the follow-up questions are like, but you would never, use the U.S. military, right? And he's like, I don't know. Seriously, if you've seen some of the video clips or some of the press conferences where he's literally like, no, we're gonna have to take it one way or another. One way or another? What are you talking about? And frankly, on this issue, I feel like the vast majority of Americans are vehemently against this. Are absolutely not in support of this, not in favor of this. It's strange here in the US right now because there's a lot of sort of crazy things going on, and there's a lot of things where Trump supporters are vocally supporting him for certain things, but not really the Greenland thing. This whole Greenland, taking over Greenland, from my point of view, from what I have heard and seen here in the US personally, like, no matter who you support or what your political affiliation is, nobody is very excited about the Greenland taking over. Nobody wants to do that. It's just Trump. Anyway, that's just, there you go, a little bit of a baseline of sort of what I think a lot of typical average Americans are thinking about this right now. And then, of course, the idea that he won't rule out using the military is, I think we're still in denial, to be completely honest. I think we're still in a stage of denial where we're like, he's just saying that, right? It's not, no, that could never happen, right? And And I think it's finally come to the point where it's actually pretty stupid to think he won't do something that outrageous. Like, how much proof, how much examples do you need at this point to not realize Trump is definitely willing to do outrageous things like this?
This has left European leaders open-mouthed, despite a strong-worded joint statement from Macron, Merz, Meloni, Tusk, Sanchez and Frederiksen on Tuesday, warning that Greenland belongs to its people. In an interview with the New York Times, published on...
Yeah. So a bunch of European leaders have written like a formal response to this. That's good. I mean, it's very strange to be sort of on the American side of this situation because it's my country that's threatening this. But like a lot of Americans, we're not in favor of it. But we are not the ones under threat. As a matter of fact, we are the ones doing the threatening, but it's not us, the people, it's our leader, but we elected the leader. So, yeah, I think a lot of Americans are really quite dumbfounded over where we're supposed to stand on this. But I think it's pretty simple. Greenland belongs to the people of Greenland, and it's pretty simple, actually.
Thursday, Trump once again reiterated his intention to annex the territory, arguing that the current arrangement with Denmark wasn't sufficient and the US actually needs to own the territory outright.
Yeah, so from what I understand, and if you haven't heard, the US has to own Greenland because it's a matter of national security. That is what Trump is officially saying. It's a matter of national security, people. Come on. We have to. But yeah, if you don't believe it's out of the pure kindness of his heart to protect the U.S. or whatever and save the world or something like that, if you take a deeper look into it, you'd also notice that taking over Greenland also gives us a lot of natural resources, minerals, a bunch of land. There's a whole bunch of other reasons why Trump would benefit from owning Greenland, besides this national security thing, which doesn't even make sense that we would need to own Greenland to establish, so basically the United States is worried that China or particularly Russia could take over Greenland or use that space to launch some kind of strategic attack on the United States, and we need to own Greenland to fortify it, to defend it, to create a big U.S. outpost and shield the United States strategically from attack. Except that Greenland already has tons of United States presence. We have military presence there. We have soldiers. We have bases. We have agreements and treaties with Greenland already that already allow the United States to have a military presence there and defend ourselves. So why do we need to own it? We can already do all of that. As a matter of fact, we are doing it currently. There's just countless reasons why this whole situation is insane. None of the logic makes any sense.
So in this video, we're going to ask, given that strongly worded statements clearly aren't sufficient, what else Europe could do to deter or retaliate against an American annexation of Greenland.
Yeah, so I thought this would be really interesting as an American to hear more about what Europeans are thinking or how Europe would respond to something like this, because again, I guess as an American citizen, it's you almost feel a little bit, you feel bad and you feel a bit helpless because now that Trump is the president, it's even if you're an American who opposes this stuff, what do you do? You can protest, you can march in the streets, you can make YouTube videos about it, you can say stuff about it, but it's geez, if this actually happens, someone's gonna have to stop it, right? And is that gonna come down to NATO or Europe or Greenland or what? What's gonna happen?
Then subscribe and ring the bell for more. So there are sort of two questions here. First, if Trump does try to seize Greenland, should Europe retaliate at all? And second, if Europe does decide to retaliate, what form should this retaliation take?
Yeah.
Let's start with the first question.
It's so, oh my God. Yeah, now that we're actually like talking about it for real, it's like, is this going to start World War III? Like, this is such a slippery slope, and it's the US that's causing it. Yeah, for the first time, I almost feel like I'm looking at the US from an outside perspective. Like I don't even recognize it anymore. Like I'm an American here in the United States. And I feel I'm having like an out of body experience like what are you doing? What are you doing?
Question. Should Europe retaliate at all? Now, you might be thinking, of course Europe should retaliate against an attack on sovereign territory.
Yeah.
But at least some European leaders are wary of picking a fight over Greenland, even if Trump does use military force to seize the territory. This is mainly because they want to keep Trump on side to avoid a sudden withdrawal of US support for Ukraine.
Oh my God. Oh my, isn't it just so freaking annoying that this is the world we live in where everybody has to tiptoe around Donald Trump. That's the world we now live in. Yeah, you get, and again, it's difficult for like me as an American to like truly understand what Europeans and other countries around the world how you look at this, how you think of it, but just hearing it like this, it's like that's the simplest way I can understand it, is like how freaking annoying would it have to be to tiptoe around this one person and what they want and all the crazy things they're doing. And you have to appease them or or Trump will pull out support from Ukraine or do more tariffs or start another trade war or annex this and that. And yeah, it's what a sad state of affairs. What a sad time we're living in for the US.
Especially when peace negotiations are ongoing and when Trump seems to be, once again, souring on Putin, as evidenced by his decision to seize a Russian-flagged tanker and recent reports that he's greenlit a bill drafted by Republican Senator Lindsey Graham that would impose 500% tariffs on countries buying Russian oil. Trump's recent turn against Putin seems to be related to the Russian president's rather tall story about Ukraine launching tens of drones against one of his personal residences late last month, which the Kremlin framed as a Ukrainian effort to undermine peace negotiations. At the time, Trump seemed to believe Putin's account of the attack, telling reporters he was, quote, very angry about it. However, a week later, after the CIA had come out to say they didn't think the attack actually happened, Trump walked back his previous comments, saying, I don't believe that strike happened, implicitly suggesting Putin lied to him.
I didn't know about all that, actually. That's actually good information. That's... Isn't that, like, amusing how that is the one way to, like, truly get under Trump's skin and make him actually mad? Even Putin, even Russia managed to make Trump mad by making him look stupid. That's, like, if there's anything he detests more, it's when he perceives he has been bamboozled, he has been fooled, he has been made to look dumb. That's what it took. That's what it took for him to, like, not like Russia. Okay.
Anyway, you get the point. At such a critical time for Ukraine, and with Trump apparently souring on Putin, at least some European leaders argue that Europe should basically do anything it can to keep the US on side, even if that means letting the US seize Greenland.
Wow. I mean, this is just, what a crazy situation. Truly. Yeah, the US, I think we've offered to pay to buy Greenland. And I'm pretty sure they have very, very clearly and passionately said no and stop talking about taking over us, by the way. And yeah, the last few days it's just gotten, there are some clips that I've seen that are so disturbing where Trump is literally saying, we will have Greenland. One way or another, we will. Like, that's literally what he said.
However, other European leaders think Europe needs to at least push back a bit. They argue that Europe needs to defend Greenland for principled reasons. After all, an American attempt on Greenland would be both a violation of Europe's territorial integrity and international law more generally.
Yeah.
But there are also more pragmatic reasons to push back. Most obviously, the past year or so has demonstrated pretty clearly that Trump only really responds to strength, and efforts to appease him usually lead to more pressure down the line.
That's true. Like, that, I actually agree with that. I think that is one of the only things Trump understands. This is so sad to even talk about, because it's like, in this situation, we're talking about American soldiers going to Greenland, and how, like, I think it would be good for some resistance to be met, because I don't want America to be doing that, but I don't want American soldiers or any soldiers dying. I don't want our soldiers dying or anyone dying at the behest of American soldiers. I don't want any the idea that there could be military conflict over this. God forbid that actually is a reality. The fact that it is this close to a reality is truly terrifying.
Comparing the Chinese and European experiences is instructive here. China has retaliated against Trump at every turn, while Europe has generally tried to appease him.
Sure.
The Chinese strategy does seem to have worked better. Not only has China ended up making fewer concessions to the US, but the Trump administration also just seems better disposed towards China than Europe at the moment, which isn't necessarily what you'd expect, given that China has taken a more confrontational tone. While
Yeah, it's annoying you have to play this, like, political ego game with Trump as well. Like, you never know what the correct move is, to try to make a deal, to try to be friendly. Oh no, maybe you have to be a little bit mean or confrontational to get the respect that you want. Or it's like kindergarten.
Europe has taken a more conciliatory one, to say nothing of the fact that Europe is supposed to be America's ally. You can see this in how Trump talks about Xi. He's constantly expressing admiration for the Chinese leader, and has recently described him as both a great leader and tough and smart. Conversely, Trump is constantly mocking European leaders. In a Politico interview last year, for instance, Trump described his European counterparts as weak, while Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was quoted describing Europe as pathetic.
And it's so annoying because Trump can say all of these outrageous things, but if anybody, especially Europeans and European leaders, say what they think about Trump, it's the end of the world. It's totally a one-way street. It's so stupid how Trump thinks he can, like, say all this stuff about Europe or whatever, and if Europe says anything back, he would, like, literally start a new trade war. Like, he thinks he's the only one who can say these types of things. Like, that really bugs me too.
When his Signal group chat was leaked last year. You get the point. More hawkish European leaders argue that defending Greenland is the right thing to do, both morally and strategically.
Yeah.
So if these leaders get their way, how could Europe retaliate? Well, the most dramatic move would be some sort of preemptive military deployment, in an attempt to deter Trump from trying his luck. This might sound far-fetched, but comments by European officials suggest it's on the table.
Wow, that does make sense. It probably has come to that point where different European militaries would be sent to Greenland preemptively to establish a presence there. Imagine we're living in a world where Europe has to fortify Greenland to protect it from an attack against the United States. And Donald Trump wanted the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, he was mad about that. I mean, the irony is just unbelievable.
Last year, for instance, when Trump first talked about annexing Greenland, France offered to send troops to the territory. Although it's hard to imagine a deployment being explicitly framed as an anti-American deterrence force. Rather, Europe would probably frame it as a way of addressing the Trump administration's concerns that Denmark and Europe don't take Greenland's security sufficiently seriously. More recently, however, the Danish Defence Ministry warned that Danish troops would take a shoot first, ask questions later posture if US troops were to invade.
Whoa. Whoa. I mean, I get it. But oh my God, again, I think I've said this a million times. That's where we're at. In the real world, that's where we're at right now. Danish soldiers are ordered to shoot. Shoot first, ask questions later. If US military arrives in Greenland, that's a real order that they got. I mean, don't get me wrong, I totally understand, and that's their right to defend themselves, of course. It's just the fact that that's where we're at, again. Wow.
In accordance with a 1952 standing order, which requires Danish troops to, quote, immediately take up the fight without waiting for or seeking orders in the event of an attack on Danish territory. This directive...
It's like... Another way you could think of this is like, what if another country thought owning the United States would be good for their national security? What if some random country thought, you know what, we need to own the US so that we can defend ourselves. It's a matter of national security after all. Would they be wrong? I'm just saying, why is it okay for the US to do that and nobody else to do that? If someone else did that, the Americans in the US and Trump would think it's outrageous. We'd be furious. We'd be outraged. And yet, when we are the ones doing it, it's okay. Now, thankfully, from what I have seen, a lot of Americans don't support this at all and do think it's outrageous. So, at least there's that.
It was created in reaction to Nazi Germany's attack on Denmark in 1940, when communications partially collapsed and many Danish units subsequently didn't know whether they should fight back. Now, we've got to say, the idea of European troops actually shooting at American ones feels pretty unlikely. Rather, it'd probably be more of a Tiananmen Square type situation. They'd probably just try to get physically in the way, thus forcing any US troops to use violence in order to advance.
I agree, and God willing, that's the truth, that it would be outrageous for actual bullets to fly. It would just be like this crazy standoff, which I do think would be good. If the US was really trying to invade Greenland, I hope other countries would try to stop it, and there would be a standoff, and hopefully something would happen to protect Greenland. Like, I hope that. What I hope is that this whole thing, like, just stop. The nonsense stops. But again, given the seriousness in which Trump has started talking about this, that's what's gotten me so concerned, how serious he is now about this.
Nonetheless, this would still be an incredibly risky strategy, with a real risk of conflict between European and American troops.
Sure.
If Europe thus decides a military deployment would be too risky, the other option is some sort of economic retaliation. The most obvious mechanism here would be the EU's new and as of yet unused anti-coercion instrument, sometimes dubbed the trade bazooka, which provides legal grounds for the EU to respond asymmetrically to economic coercion. This would allow the EU to whack big fines on American tech companies and exclude American firms from government contracts.
Oh, wow.
More extreme form of economic retaliation would be a coordinated dumping of US government bonds. For context...
Yeah, I mean, so retaliating with economic, warfare, you could say. Yeah, I mean, in this world where the U.S. is trying to take over Greenland, there's no more rules, essentially. Yeah.
EU member states collectively hold something like $1.5 trillion worth of US government bonds, typically known as treasuries, with the UK holding an additional $700 billion.
Oh, wow.
A mass sell-off of these bonds would wreak havoc in the Treasury market and
Okay.
push up America's borrowing costs, which would be particularly
That's something. That's something, and something that Trump understands, I think. Economic damage, which he does not like. I think Trump gets very embarrassed when the US isn't prospering, when our stock market is down, when our economy is not growing. He takes it as a personal embarrassment. So I actually think that could work.
bad news for an administration that is apparently hoping to boost defence spending by 50% next year. Again, this might feel far-fetched, but, well, Trump has taken the transatlantic alliance into uncharted territory, and Europe would do well to remember it has more cards at its disposal than is sometimes assumed.
Sure.
If you're interested in
Wow. Yeah. That was good. That was very good. Again, TLDR News EU, really good video, and definitely explained to me some of the options that Europe would have in this crazy scenario. But yeah, I guess part of me just also wanted to talk about this and make it very clear that a lot of Americans don't support this at all. It's crazy. It's crazy that this is so close to being a real thing. So, yeah, I really wanted to gain more of a European perspective on it as well, because I know what a lot of Americans are thinking about this. Yeah, and this definitely like gave me a much bigger picture over what could happen in the future, given all this. So, yeah, it still doesn't make me feel that much better, because at the end of the day, if any of this happens, that's horrible, to say the least. And the relationship between the US and Europe and the world will never be the same. It probably already is never going to be the same. But this would be a new level, I think. So, yeah, it's a lot to think about. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on the US trying to take over Greenland. Seriously. That'd be cool to hear about, especially if you're European, hearing your perspective on all this and what you're thinking, and that'd be really valuable, actually. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.